Hello, this is Ramblings of an Indisciplined Mind podcast for Monday, July 11th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So we did something Saturday that we'd been meaning to do most of the summer, but hadn't gotten to it. And we went to the new local minor league team, or I shouldn't say minor league, but professional baseball team. And so what it is, it's called the United Shore Professional Baseball League. And they got three different teams. They've got the Utica Unicorns. It's actually the stadium is in Utica. They got the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, and they got the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. And Birmingham Bloomfield are actually closer to where we live. So that's who we decided to root for. Our game was, and it's what it is these teams just play each other. Three teams, and they play each other. They just kind of rotate around and play each other at this new little stadium that they've just built and just got done in May. And we wanted to check it out and see what it was like. And the tickets are pretty cheap. We paid $15 each for tickets. And we were like above... No, we weren't above the one of the dugouts. We were actually a little bit closer to home plate. We weren't actually in the section that was behind home plate, but we were along the first base line there. And I mean, it was really good seats. You could see really nicely. The whole stadium's really got, I would have to say probably pretty good seats for watching a game, because there's only one level of seats. As far as normal stadium seating, they have a second level that's got some suites for groups and things like that, but that's it. So you don't have like multiple tiers of seats that you're dealing with. And so we got there at 6:30. Or maybe it's closer to 6, a little bit after 6. One of the things that's nice is they've got a parking lot. At this point, I think I was hearing that they want to upgrade it, but at this point it's just a gravel parking lot. But parking is free, which is nice. That's a big plus over, like going downtown and seeing the Detroit Tigers play, where I'm probably paying at least $20 for a parking spot. So parking is free, and they had this, what was basically a 4x4, or a quad, what do you call them, a quad? One of those things. And they had a trailer on it that had a bunch of seats on it. And so they were running that back and forth, giving people rides. We didn't have to walk to the stadium from the parking lot. It's probably a distance of about a quarter mile, maybe a little bit more. So we got to the stadium, and it was pretty noisy. They had a guy there, so you walk in and there's like the bar is right there. And then you go either direction to get to the areas where your seats are, and they got various food vendors and whatnot. And we went in search of a hot dog. And so first of all, right in front of this bar, they had a guy with a guitar, and he had his own little speaker system, and he's singing along. And it's just like, wow, that really wasn't needed. It just kind of made the whole area loud. We went and got a couple hot dogs, and then went up in search of our seats. The hot dogs, sadly, were a bit of a disappointment. We might have to try those again later, or try them. I don't know. They were cooked, but they were kind of cold. It was that was probably the one thing that kind of sucked. Is that the wife had some gelato that was really good. I actually bought a cookie at one point. And it was this, big old cookie, 3 inches across or something like that, and it was really good. And then the people that were sitting behind us at one point, the guy came back and he had these chicken tenders that he'd bought down at the bar, and they're actually part of a kid's meal. but they looked really good. And they came with fries, and we're like, okay. So at one point, getting a little hungry again because the one hot dog wasn't doing it, and so I went down and got the kids' meal for chicken tenders. It took a long time because they had a snafu and they basically gave my tenders to somebody else, so I stood there a long time. They had like 5 TV screens from where I was at. None of them had the game on. They didn't have anything. They didn't have, the wife went to the bathroom at one point. She said they had commentators. You could hear it over a speaker in the bathroom, so you could keep track. They didn't have that going. So you basically, while you're in the bar, you get no way of knowing what the heck's going on with the game. So I was probably there like 15 minutes, I would guess, close, easily. And we got the tenders, and I took them back to the seat. And these things were like, if you took a full chicken breast and cut it in half lengthwise, so you get the full length of the chicken breast, but it's probably only half as thick. That's what these things were, and there were like 6 pieces in here. It was a huge amount of food, and then a big helping of fries. Now I liked the fries, the wife didn't because they were seasoned. And I got some barbecue dipping sauce. It was good, and we just split it, and boy, that was really good, and that was like the best. That was the best value I think I'd seen at the stadium, because they were kind of typical stadium prices, But that was $6.95 for this, 6 huge tenders and fries to go with it. And it was like, wow. If you're going to actually feed this to kids, it's actually coming off of the kids' meal menu there at the bar. You would have to, you'd probably have to, split it up between 2 kids, because one kid would never finish it all. And then the game got going, and the game was good. We actually saw some really good baseball going on there. So these are all people. These are all young men basically that want to get on what they call an affiliated team, meaning it's part of the MLB. This is not part of the MLB. It's still considered pro ball. They're getting paid. And before the game, they actually on the big, I don't know if it's big enough to really be a jumbotron, but on the big screen, they were showing, had these little slides of some of the players, and they give their name and their stats and what their hobbies are and what their goals are for 2016. And most of them would be like, I want to get an affiliated contract, or I want to get on an affiliated team or something like that. There's actually been several players that have been picked up by various MLB franchises already out of this little league. So yeah, I mean, it's some good ball. We had a fun time watching the game. It did rain twice while we were there, and so the first time everybody got up and we walked toward the back where it's covered. Once you walk up to the top, it's covered there, and we all kind of just watched the game from there. It didn't rain enough that they had to pause the game. And then the second time it started raining. It was raining, but it wasn't raining that hard, and we're just like, we're just gonna wait it out. But then it really, the heavens really started to open up, and it was just like, we don't really want to get soaked to the skin. So us and pretty much everybody else went up to the top there, and right at the top they have what's called the drink rail seats. And you're sitting there. You got a rail where you can access the table. You can put stuff down on it, and you got a seat there. You got it's a metal chair. Doesn't look to be any less comfortable than the chairs we were in, which are just hard plastic. Now there were seats a couple rows down that if we were going to go again, we might try again. They're $20 a seat instead of 15, and they're $20, and they had thick padding on the bottom that looked quite comfy. But even on the drink rail, the seats were only $10, and we were like standing right when we were up there when it was raining. We were standing right behind the drink rail people, and we could see the game just fine. So drink rail might be nice, and then you've got a little table there. It's a rail that goes across, but it's a little table there where you can put your drink, you can put your food. And that would be kind of cool. So we might try the drink rail next time it's just us, and try that out. And it's only $10 a seat, so you can't really complain about that. And what else we do there? I don't know. They did have, and I'm going to talk about this separately because I'm already at 10 minutes. They did have a quick change act for America's Got Talent that came out between innings and did some stuff. I'll talk about that tomorrow because I want to yap about that a bit, and I don't want to try to slide it into a minute here. But it was a good time. It was a fun time watching some professional ball that wasn't the big leagues necessarily, but it was still good ball. It's close. It's within 15 minutes of the house. There's no, we didn't have to deal with any traffic really going or coming. So it was very easy in and easy out. It was really a no fuss day. So it was a lot of fun. So we will have to be going back, I think. Next baseball game is we're going to see Seattle play at Toronto next week. That's just next week. Wow. So yeah, that's part of our little vacation for the summer. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, it's kind of a baseball July. But I guess that's really all I got to talk about today. Tomorrow I'll talk about the Quick Change Act, which was pretty good in spots. But I'll save that for tomorrow. So until then, be seeing you.